is easily one of my favorite cities in all of India. It's a city that is full of vibrance and culture. And although it might not be the biggest city here in India, between the massive monuments dating back hundreds of years to the incredible food that this city has to offer, it is easily one of the bucket list places you have to go to here in India. You might never have heard of it. And in fact, until a few years ago, I didn't even know that this place existed. But ever since then, it's been on my bucket list. And trust me, there's a good reason that it is on there. Welcome to one of the beautiful cities here in India. And my personal favorite, welcome to the city of Orchha. Good morning guys, and welcome to another day here in one of the most incredible cities in India. One of my favorites, one of my personal favorites, and one that if anyone were to come to India, I would highly recommend. Now, this city is one with so many monuments. Some of them are free, some of them aren't. In a previous Orchha video, what I've done is I've shown you all the free things that you can do. So some of the buildings, some of the abandoned buildings are free, some of the temples are free. But there are also many structures that require you to have a ticket. The good thing about Orchha is that if you buy one combined ticket, it combines all the actual sites here in Orchha together into one ticket, which makes it awfully convenient if you're thinking about visiting the city. So with that said, what we're gonna do is we're gonna buy one combined ticket, which lasts us one day here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna see as much as you can with that one combined ticket. There are quite a few things to see in the city. There are a few mahals, there are a few temples, there are just so many ancient structures here worth exploring. So with that said, let's go ahead and let's start exploring the city of Orchha. And just like that, we have crossed the river and we have now officially come to the fort of Orchha. Now the ticket covers 5 main sites, and we are going to see all those sites today. But we have come first to the Raja Mahal. Raja Mahal refers to the palace of the king. Remember, Raj is the king, so this is his palace right here in Orchha. But before we talk about the structure and the building itself, it's a little important to talk about the history of this place. This was not the same empire as the Mughals. It was not the same empire as those in Rajasthan. This was an area known as Bundelkhand was the name. And they had a king, Raja Pratap, I think that's what his name is. He decided to move the capital here in the 1500s to Orchha, situated right on the Betwa River. Now this entire complex was built in the 1500s, so it's roughly 500 years old. And this empire was a very powerful empire. Sure, Agra was the base of the Mughal Empire, and the Mughal Empire was very powerful. We saw that in Agra. But here, they weren't scared of the Mughals. Yes, they may have lost many years later, but for a very long time under the reign of Akbar in the Mughal Empire, they were not scared of Akbar. They were not scared in the Mughal Empire. And throughout that time, they kept their court here in Orchha, creating this massive palace that we see today. It is one of the most beautiful places I have seen here in India, but the history behind it and how they were able to maintain their independence despite the power of the Mughal Empire speaks to how important and magnificent this site actually is. You can imagine this raised platform here. This is where the king would have sat at the very top, his officials, and then all the public here. So it is very reminiscent of what we saw in Agra and in other Mughal forts. You can imagine how busy and how loud this place is. Someone was just telling me they'd have bebop drums and it'd be really of a hectic sort of life here. So that is very interesting that now this place is literally completely quiet. Welcome to the inner courtyard of the palace of the Raja Mahal. This entire palace is interesting because it's built in a square shape, like literally as symmetrically square as possible. But what you can see here is that one of the main features of this palace is that the conservation of the murals and the artwork is incredible. I mean, look at these murals right behind me. That is incredible, and there are thousands of these murals here in Orchha that are very, very well preserved, depicting Vishnu, depicting Krishna, depicting Ram, depicting all the Hindu gods that were sort of here in Orchha at the time. Now from here you can see that it's a multi-floored palace, so there are different levels that you would stay in. The women and children of the Maharaja would stay in the inner courtyard area to be best protected from any outside threats. But I mean, look at a place like this. Like it's just incredible how beautiful it is. The artwork is hundreds and hundreds of years old, and the color may be a bit faded, but the designs are still there. And you can tell that this fortress has been through so much history. I mean, look at this crack right here. It's been through a lot. It's been through so many years of destruction and history, and yet all these years later, it still stands as a testament to the power of Bundelkhand and its kingdom hundreds of years ago. This has got to be the narrowest staircase I've ever been through, and the ceilings here, oh my goodness. I'm not meant to live in an Indian palace. You can see that these paintings are still so well preserved, showing the Maharaja and the court that they used to live in, and all the different stories and Hindu tales of Hindu mythology. It has got to be one of the most beautiful things I've seen, especially since it's 500 years old. You can see here some of this paint is slowly starting to peel off, but you can still make out the figure of a man, the figure of a woman. You can see there's a fire, maybe some pots and pans here. I think I have to say Orchha and this fort is one of the best preserved forts I've seen in here. In fact, the best preserved fort. Even in Rajasthan, you're not going to find paintings and murals that are as well preserved as the ones here in Orchha. I keep talking about how amazingly preserved the murals in this castle are, but this room, oh my goodness, look at that. Look at the brightness of these murals. These are like exactly what they looked like originally 500 years ago. Like, this is exactly how it was supposed to look. And oh my goodness, it is amazing. This room right here is the attendants, the female attendants room. So the maids that were taking care of the king, the Maharajas, and the other women in the palace. This is where they would stay to take care of the royal family. And this is how they decorate the room for the maids. I can only imagine what it's like for the actual king, but this is probably the best preserved room. The brightness, the saturation of the colors. Man, it's as if you were actually here 500 years ago and seeing these paintings for the first time. This was the king's living quarters. This is where he would stay at the very back of the palace, protected from all threats from the outside. His queens and his kids would live alongside the palace, but this is where he would live. Look at the paintings here. It is extraordinary. I mean, it took a few years for this palace to be completed. Actually, the Raja Pratham, the one who moved the capital here to Orchha, he didn't get to see the palace finished. It was his son who actually completed the palace. So his son was the one who got to live and enjoy the luxury of this palace. But wow, you can see why a king would want to live in this place. Look at that. Look at the colors on the ceiling. It is so bright and it is so well preserved. And you can imagine if you were here 500 years ago, living here as the king, this would be what your room would look like. It's a pretty nice room to stay in. You can see here that there are 2 windows, and there are also 2 windows over there. A few things to know about these windows. First, there are windows from here where you can get sunlight, but from the outside, you don't actually see them as windows. They're just plain blocked off. You can see how the windows are shaped so they sort of slant upwards, so it creates that illusion from the outside, but on the inside, you know that that's a window. Second, the purpose of those windows is for ventilation. Where I'm standing right now, in the crosshairs between this window over here and that window over there, you feel a gust of air flowing through these windows. And if you move forward a bit, these two windows as well are going to produce you with that same sort of ventilation. I'm assuming that if I were the king, I'd probably put my bed here so that I would feel the ventilation like a natural fan coming in. But the coolest part is if you're on the outside, you don't even know that this is a window. You don't even know that this is the ventilation system. And you would just assume that it's just a normal wall blocking off the king's quarters. It just feels like every step you take here in Orchha, it's a postcard perfect picture. I mean, look at this. I just climbed to the second floor and this is the view that I'm greeted with. It is like, it's out of an Indian fairy tale. It's beautiful. And you can see these structures behind me. It's just crazy how beautiful this place is. I cannot recommend Orchha enough as a destination to visit here in India. It has got to be on your bucket list. I mean, look at that. That's why you come to Orchha. This massive castle, this massive fortress, and this is one of actually two mahals that we're going to visit today. I'm just blown away by this, and wow, just wow. Just when I thought you couldn't climb any higher, you can climb to the third floor. And literally, look at all that greenery behind me. I mean, the city of Orchha is in that direction over there. But this is just rural India at its finest. Completely with trees and everything. You're not going to see anything else like that here in India. I mean, it's so urbanized here, but this is beautiful. Look at all this greenery. And this is the exact passageways that I'm sure soldiers would have been running up and down with munitions to protect the fort if any invaders were to come through. And just like that, we have left the Raja Mahal, one of the most beautiful things I've seen here in Orchha. But look at that structure right there. That's another Mahal built right across from it. Let's go ahead and explore that. Now, welcome to the next massive structure we are visiting here in Orchha. This is Jahangir Mahal. And if Jahangir Mahal seems familiar in terms of the name, it should be. Jahangir was one of the Mughal emperors, and we learned a little bit about him when we were in Agra. Now, Jahangir Mahal was literally built for the Mughal emperor Jehangir. He was going to come and visit Orchha, and for this visit, the emperor that was living here at the time from the Orchha Empire actually built this entire courtyard just for a visit. I mean, imagine building an entire fort, an entire palace, just for the visit of an emperor. I mean, it also speaks to how powerful the Mughals were, but also speaks to the ability for things to be done here in Bundelkhand and here in this part of India, this little country here. But it is a massive, massive place, and literally, it was just for Jahangir. That was the only point of it. It wasn't for any other members of the royal family that were living here. It was just for Jahangir. I mean, look at that. That is absolutely massive. Now, what I love about Jahangir's palace, Jahangir Mahal, is that you can actually go and climb up all the staircases. You can see all the different rooms. It is absolutely stunning. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to spend our time, and we're going to see how impressive this place actually is as we walk around the surroundings of Jahangir Mahal. Well, much like the Raja Mahal, the Jahangir Mahal is also built in this square-shaped structure. I think that's maybe the classic way that they used to do things here in Orchha. It's a square-shaped fort whenever they build it. And as a result, they have a lot of space to build nice sort of courtyards where you can have sort of rest when Jahangir came. I mean, this is one of the many courtyards that you'll find across the actual Mahal, and they're located on each corner of the Mahal. So Jahangir was able to come here, enjoy the breeze, and actually the windows allowed for air to flow through, such that there was nice ventilation here. I mean, you can imagine everything here was literally created to make Jahangir as happy and as comfortable as possible. And I'm going to say that they did a pretty good job. I mean, this is a pretty magnificent fort to stay at just for a visit when you're coming to Orchha. From here, you can literally see the Raja Mahal. That's where we started off our day with this massive palace. I mean, you can literally see the entire city of Orchha right behind me, but wow, this is an absolutely impressive place to be. I have to say, climbing all the way up to the top, you get some of the best views and the best breeze. The wind is so comfortable here. And from here you can see all of Madhya Pradesh so far out. You can even see the Betwa River on which Orchha was based. They wanted to build it next to the Betwa River, and that's where we were yesterday at sunset. But it looks absolutely incredible. You can also see all the little kotis that surrounded the entire fort. Remember, all these kotis were built for ministers and other important figures in the Orchha court at the time. And you can see the ruins that are left there. But obviously the best preserved one is still the Mahals. The Raja Mahal and this Mahal as well are both the best preserved structures here. But it is incredible, and the breeze, I mean, if I was Jahangir, I'd just stay up here all day and I'd just let the breeze blow by and relax here with all the food and the comforts that life could offer me as a Mughal emperor. You can see that in an effort to keep this still standing, they've secured this pillar here with brick and concrete. You can see this one is all covered in concrete. What it would look like is like that one originally over there. Slender pillars that sort of prop it up, but here, it's gonna be collapsing soon, so they have to do it. They're trying to restore it as well as they can, and to be honest, from far away, you wouldn't even notice that this is the case, but this is the sign of decay that you can tell, that slowly and slowly, this fort is slowly crumbling away, and they have to add these sort of bricks and cement just to keep certain structures within the fort and within the palace protected and upright. Honestly, this has to be one of the most beautiful structures I have seen in my entire life. Every angle, every corner, I mean, look at this. You want to take a photo of that. You want to shoot this as much as you can. You want to remember this. It's just incredible. And you could easily spend hours just roaming the different levels of this mahal, walking through the different corridors and discovering new courtyards that you didn't know about. Easily. You could spend just a day just exploring this mahal and just enjoying it. But wow, what a magnificent structure. I think this might be the most beautiful thing I've seen in all of India, and I definitely would say that Jahangir Mahal is more beautiful than Raja Mahal. They knew how to treat Jahangir when he came, and just for a visit they constructed this. That just blows my mind. One thing I hate about these palaces, I always have to watch my head or I'm bound to knock into something. India was not built for me. And just like that, we have officially left Jahangir Mahal. Probably the most beautiful thing I've seen in all of India. I mean, look at that. If that is not the definition of magnificence, I don't know what is. Now, if you're wondering, can I live like Jahangir and stay in a mahal? The answer is yes, it's just not this mahal. This hotel right here is actually another mahal. It's called Shri Mahal, and it's actually a hotel. So pay a little extra fee, and you might be actually able to stay like a king, like a maharaja in your own mahal. Now, it's gonna cost a little more money, so don't expect it to be the cheapest accommodation available here in Orchha. But if you want the experience of living luxury, then that is probably your go-to spot. Orchha, when you buy the combined ticket, that gives you access to 5 different historical ancient sites here in Orchha. We've seen two of them. We've seen the Raja Mahal, the king's palace, and we've seen Jahangir Mahal, which was built for Jahangir. But a little outside of Orchha, about a 15-minute rickshaw ride or 10 to 15 minute rickshaw ride, is another destination that is actually covered under the ticket. It's a temple and it's about to rain, so let's get up to the temple first and then let me tell you a little more about this. Welcome to Lakshmi Temple, one of the most important temples here in Orchha. I'm speaking quietly because there's literally nobody here right now. But this is a temple that was built by Bir Singh Deo, one of the rulers over this part, the Orchha kingdom, and a vassal to the Mughal Empire. Now he ruled in the early 1600s, so this dates back about 400 years in history. It's a little younger than the mahals that we saw earlier on the opposite side of the river. Now this temple is a Lakshmi temple. Lakshmi is one of the Hindu goddesses that is a sign of wealth and prosperity. So this is a temple that's dedicated to the goddess Lakshmi of the Hindu religion. Bir Singh Deo used the resources of the Orchha kingdom at the time and built this massive structure. Now, from the mahals to get here, it takes about 10 to 15 minutes. So it is a little bit outside, and actually out of all the 5 locations that your ticket includes, this is probably the farthest out from the city. But it is a sort of very peaceful temple where you almost feel like you're out of the busyness of Orchha. I mean, to begin with, Orchha is a very small town. But if you look outside Orchha, you notice it's just green everywhere else around it. And then you have this temple that's just erected in the middle of all that greenery. It's a very quiet place, a very peaceful place. And I guess it makes sense that you dedicate an entire temple to a goddess in such a nice and quiet place. You can still see the original paintings from 400 years ago. It might not be as colorful as the paintings in the Raja Mahal, but it is absolutely well preserved. I can't even believe that you can actually see this, and it still exists 400 years later. Now all across the temple you will see very common animal motifs here at the Lakshmi temple, more so than anywhere or any other temple I've actually seen. For instance, right here, you've got the elephant trunk. It looks like an elephant trunk. And right over there, you've got something that literally looks like a peacock or a very fertile bird. It really is an animal motif heavy temple. And it's symbolic of Lakshmi, who is, you know, the goddess of prosperity and wealth. You can see here more symbols of peacocks. And peacocks, one of, if not the most important animal in the Hindu culture, a symbol of all good things, fertility, wealth, prosperity. Being a little outside of Orchha, the main benefit of coming to this temple is the view. I mean, look at that view right there. You can literally see all the forts, you can see the other temples, you can see the whole city of Orchha from here because we're at a higher elevation, we're on a hill, and we're a little farther out. You can literally see the mahals that we were visiting earlier this morning. They're right there, and it is an incredible view from here. And just like that, that is the Lakshmi Temple, one of the most peaceful places I think you can find here in Orchha. It's sort of like, you can see, that is the city right over there, all those monuments over there, that's the actual city of Orchha. So here you're sort of far away. I mean, look at all the greenery that is surrounding this place. Sort of on a hill, sort of elevated, gives you a great view of the entire city of Orchha. It's just not really close to the center. So it's a little out of the way, but definitely a worthwhile visit. If you just want a peaceful place, I mean, I was literally just staying right up there, enjoying the view as the rain was pouring down on Orchha, and now it's all dry and we're ready to continue exploring the city of Orchha. Sorry, I just made a baby cry. Oh no, that's not good. Now if you've watched my video from Jaisalmer, you'll remember that when we went to Jaisalmer, we visited a place called Barabag, where the kings of Jaisalmer were buried, and, well, they weren't buried, but they had these memorials, a series of all these memorials that were sort of commemorating their life, and then also where they would be burned and they would die. Well, the same thing exists here in Orchha. Here they're called Chhatris, a series of massive monuments dedicated to each king that ruled here in Orchha. There are quite a few Chhatris here, and they're all sort of lined up together in a little collection area, and there's like a few flowers, it's a garden. It's a really, really nice place. Now, one thing compared to the Barabag sort of area is that these Chhatris are massive. They are 2-3 floors big, and you can actually, used to at least, climb up the staircases. Now, unfortunately, they've locked the staircases, so you're not able to actually go up and get a better view of the second floor. But these Chhatris are absolutely massive, and you can see, I mean, look at that one right behind me. It is a massive, massive structure dedicated to each king that ruled over Bundka. This one right here, this is dedicated to one of the Maharajas, one of the kings here that ruled over Orchha. But when he died, his brother was the one responsible for the construction of it. So a lot of times, maybe some of the kings would plan it out, but a lot of the times the kings wouldn't plan it out. And it will be up to their relatives, their sons, or their brothers to decide how and where the cenotaphs would be built. I think I got some comments on my thing. Oh, we can go even higher. Okay, let's go even higher then. Wow. Oh wow, funny.
Funny, like Nadi.
Ah, Betwa.
That's one.
Ah. We're making it to the top. We can actually see that right there. That is the Betwa River. That's the river that runs through. That's the base of all of Orchha. And it's such an incredible view. Wow. This is why you come to Orchha, for incredible experiences like this, for a security guide who literally just unlocks the door and gives you access to one of the most wonderful areas of India. This is so cool. Security guide was just telling me that this area right here, this would be where they would do Chitur, right? Chitur, which is, I think, from what I understand, where they would burn the Maharaja's bodies. And we saw that in Barabag as well, in Jaisalmer, where there's a place where they would burn the bodies. Well, this, you can see this massive sort of platform here. This is where they would have done the same thing here in Orchha for the kings that had passed away. A very, very massive space, but today you can see it's been modernized. They've added some new tile work, but this would have, where it would have been historically. Although I may have cleared some cobwebs for them on the staircase, that has got to be one of the coolest experiences, getting to go up on the staircase. It's just different from up there. What you can see, like all the rivers and the mountains and the other cenotaphs, it's just different. One of the coolest things I have easily done here in India. Now, not all cenotaphs were built in the same style and in the same size. This one right here is a much smaller one, and also the size of it is also smaller, and it's built in a circular shape, unlike the ones you can see over there, which are square shaped. It very much depended on which era the king was. Later on, kings decided they wanted different styles, so they changed from the original sort of square shape you see from kings in the late 1500s and early 1600s to this sort of dome-shaped style, where you can probably tell it's a little different. It's quite different, in fact, from the traditional square-shaped Chhatri. So it very much depended on the king, very much depended on the era he was in, and depending on that, it would determine what sort of Chhatri and what sort of cenotaph that he was going to get when he passed away. And just like that, we have officially left the area of the Chhatris, or the cenotaphs of the Maharajas who used to live here. This group of Chhatris is included within the combined ticket. So if you pay for the combined ticket, you're going to get access to these cenotaphs as well. And I have to say, it is really, really interesting. I mean, the kings had invested so much into everything, the structures, the mahals, and even the places where they'd be commemorated. You can even see where they were burned, where everything would take place. It's just fascinating that 500 years later, these buildings are still standing. And like I mentioned before, these are not small buildings. These are massive, massive structures just to commemorate. Okay, but with that said, that is the fourth point here in our ticket. We have one more place to go. So let's go ahead, let's get a rickshaw because the rain is getting worse and worse. And let's see if we can make it on time before it closes. Welcome to the final destination that is covered within our ticket, or partially covered by our ticket. This is the tallest temple in all of India. The name of this temple is Chaturbhuj Temple, and the ground floor where I am right now is actually free and completely accessible to anyone who wants to come in here. The part the ticket covers is that you want to go upstairs and have a great view of Orchha. Like I said, this is one of the highest temples in all of India. It is the tallest temple in all of India, standing at over 100 meters tall. It's what makes it so impressive, and from the inside, it looks absolutely grand.
It's moonstay, it's no light, day and light.
Okay, thank you. Ooh. To climb to the top, I've been given a flashlight to make it up to the top. Oh, I can see why now. It does get pretty dark up here. This feels like we're climbing a haunted house with no lights in it. I mean, literally. If I turn off the light, there's pitch darkness up there. Starting to be concerned a bit about my safety here, but we're gonna take it slow, one step at a time. And after several minutes of figuring out how to climb up to the top and going up some pretty steep steps, I have finally made it to the very top of Chaturbhuj Temple. Look at this place. This is incredible. I just cannot even believe that such a place exists. Now, this temple was originally sort of commissioned to be built in the late 1500s, but it was sort of delayed because of some Mughal invasions and also some issues. For example, I think one of the princes died. So because of these issues, delay on the project dragged it on for a while, and actually one of the wives of the king wanted to put an idol in here. It was just too late, so she just moved the idol to the palace right over there. But this temple was ultimately constructed quite a while later, and it now remains the tallest temple in all of India. There is not a single temple taller than the temple I am currently at in the whole country. That's insane. This is the peak of Hindu architecture. It is the peak of Orchha's architecture. It is just impressive, and I'm so glad I came here because now you get a view of all of Orchha. You can see the Mahals that we started off the day with. You can see all the way over there the Betwa River, the Betwa River, which marks the reason why Orchha was built here, because of the actual river. It is just such an impressive 360 view of the entire city of Orchha. I cannot even tell you how incredible this place is. It's one of the best places to visit, and we're just gonna hang out here for a little bit and explore this place because truly one of the most magnificent places I've seen in my life. One thing I love about Orchha is that the biodiversity here is just absolutely incredible. You can see there are monkeys literally just walking right around here. The biodiversity is really well protected, and even when you're walking around the floor, you'll see so many butterflies and monkeys and parrots. It truly is one of the most beautiful places I've seen in India. Apparently, that monkey right up there, those types of monkeys are actually worse than normal monkeys. They're supposed to be even more mischievous than the normal monkeys. So just beware when you're in India. The monkeys might seem cute, but the moment you start annoying them, they will grab your phone and grab everything. They have glasses, everything, and yeah, not a good experience after being attacked by one in Agra. I mean, look at how steep these steps are. I'm literally going to have to go one step at a time. We are outside the temple, and not by choice, because literally they have kicked us out and they've said that it's too late and they're going to need to close the temple. But that is one of the most impressive temples I've seen, and I know I'm saying that about every single thing I've seen in Orchha, but the truth is everything here has blown my mind away. Jahangir Mahal, absolutely impressive. The Cenotaphs, which are the Chhatris over there, I never thought I would see something like that. And then this massive temple, the tallest in all of India. You just don't expect to find these things here, and I don't know why people aren't talking about Orchha more, but to be honest, this is a place that deserves to be visited. In my opinion, this place is more beautiful than a lot of the palaces and forts I've seen in Rajasthan, and for some reason, people, especially foreigners, don't seem to be coming here as much. I get that Agra is a natural wonder of the world with the Taj Mahal, but this has got to be one of the wonders of the world as well. This is one of the most impressive things I have seen today, and which is why it makes Orchha my favorite place in all of India. The vibe here is just nice. It's different. People here seem really, really nice. They're very, very friendly. With that said, what an incredible day it has been. I want to choose a favorite out of the destinations I've seen today in Orchha, but the truth is, I can't. It's just, everything is beautiful. I see one place and then I see the next, and I don't even know which one is better. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more food and travel videos. I'm ending this video right here in the tallest temple in all of India, but we've got so many more videos coming from India, so make sure to stay tuned. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you all on the next one. Bye guys.